All right, we're talking surfers. We're kicking her off. Bryce Gardner, the Atlantik, kind of your baby.
Totally.
Really hyped to talk to you about this board right now.
Yeah, I mean, we call it the Atlantik. It was that ocean-inspired shape that we wanted to do. I think it was a handful of years ago now, but yeah, it's just something different that I felt like, you know, maybe the Ronix line was missing and what was missing in wake surfing at the time, and we've continued to improve it pretty much every year, making changes almost every year to the shape. But yeah, just making it, the whole idea with the Atlantik was a high rocker board that offered control, that offered you the ability to really roll the board into a bottom turn, come off the top, and throw a big bucket of water in the back of the boat, which I've been...
You're all about it. Yeah, I've seen it.
And like quad fin, given that versatility, keeping the tail of the board locked in when you're doing that was something that meant a lot, keeping that locked in feel where it's not sliding and like kind of riding like an ocean board where you have the grip of the fins coming around. But I think it's that ocean-inspired wake surf board with, when I say a ton of rocker, we really just kept the board flat in between your feet. So your feet, when you're riding, are sitting on top of a rocker profile on the bottom of the board. That just gives you tons of A and a B with your front and your back foot. When you want to pump it and charge in, you can do that. When you want to slam on the brakes and throw a bucket up in the air, because your feet are sitting on that rocker, it gives you so much control, and you know, you can feel like you're like really tossing a bucket up in the air when you're riding the Atlantik, which I think is cool for somebody looking for a board that has that tossing buckets, really slashing and coming around, and wants to work the board, basically just get up and thrash on the board, you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I've definitely watched you on many sessions throw some buckets and soak the boat.
Yeah, you know, like a fixed stance board, just going up and, you know, like thrashing it around.
Getting it. Where did you come up with the name Atlantik?
Atlantik was because we wanted that ocean. We always knew it was like going to be an ocean style, like high performance shortboard profile and outline, and the Atlantik felt was kind of cool. We put a K on the end of it to be confusing, but didn't want to just call it the Atlantik without having a little bit of a spin on it. And we've done it before in the past with other products, changing the way that a word is spelled to make it kind of our own, and that was what we wanted to do with the board, was kind of just make it our own and make it something that was just totally different and kind of a throw stuff to the wall and see what sticks type of a vibe. But
yeah, very cool, very cool. So when like you're talking, it kind of filled a gap in you know, the Ronix surf line that we kind of, really weren't filling that space for that board, for that person, for that purpose. What would you what would you say, like, really kind of the main when you were pulling everything together, putting all the ingredients into the stew, what was the purpose of that?
yeah, I mean, the purpose of the shape was to create that quick reacting hairpin turn feel that you usually think of on a thinner profile board that's maybe sitting a little deeper in the water, but agility without sacrificing that floaty feel. The board has transitional rails. Okay, without sacrificing that floaty feel, the board has a sharper rail on the tail, but more rounded under the front foot. So you get that surfy feel under the front foot, but that skim, that sharp rail bite in the tail, which was unique for that board at the time.
Very cool. So when we're talking about features, Bryce, we got concave, we got tip flip, and we got blended rails. Maybe you can shine a little bit more light into those three individual features.
I've always been a big fan of concave. I feel like concave is creating that lift and speed. Too much concave, you're kind of like bogging the board down, it becomes too much. we wanted like a subtle amount of concave that starts under the front foot and runs through the tail. And that's just creating that lift in the speed. And when you're rolling the board, it kind of rolls a little bit with the concave, and coming on a bottom turn, you really feel that concave engage when you're coming up into the wave, back into the wave, just giving you that kind of like dropping a gear, extra gear feel with the bottom concave. And I mean, tip flip, which you mentioned, it catches you a little bit. The board already has a ton of rocker, but we flip the tip up a little bit, and that catches you a little bit when you're coming down, and when you're switching the board back. It's
and by catching you mean like kind of say like if you're coming down the transition with a lot of speed, it's saving you from burying the tip, right? Yeah,
totally. Like when you're switching the board back off of a hack, you know, the tip kind of comes down a little bit, and having that flip on there, we didn't have it originally, but flipping the tip up allowed you to just kind of carry out of the turn a little bit.
I like that. You carry out. Instead of coming in, digging through and having to force your way through it, it carries you through the turn and keeps your speed and momentum back up into your next turn. 100%. Feeling that. Let's talk about construction. When you were thinking about this board, was this I want it to be a full purist style, surf style construction, or?
Yeah, it was always meant to be a traditional surfer wood stringer down the middle and an EPS foam core, which is a really buoyant, lightweight, fast feeling core. We've added carbon to later versions, and that's just increasing the stiffness of the wood stringer. We've just kept it on the wood stringer, so you still get that lively feel and that very buoyant surfboard feel with a little more stiffness that just allows you to charge harder.
Very cool, very cool. So when you're talking about charging hard, this segues into the next thing I want to talk about is the fins and the fin setup and placement, because this has a unique fin setup.
What's cool about the fin placement, it's a quad fin setup, and most quad fin setups have the trailing fins further back. With the Atlantik, we felt that moving them forward and isolating the pivot point gave you a freer tail when you're doing a turn or coming around on a 3. Those trailing fins don't catch as much. They don't kind of like hold the tail of the board down. So we wanted a quad fin setup that felt pivoty and fun for 3s and doing those big hacks.
That's cool, that's cool. Because I definitely like on a surfboard, I like the fact that you have the quad fin setup, but you can still ride a quad fin and feel free and pivoty, and you're not losing that kind of freedom feel on it.
And too, I mean, the tail's a fang tail style of tail, so it kind of comes back in a little bit, and so having that isolated pivot point really gives you a complementary feel to the fang tail, which is already going to want to sink and ride the rail and come up and throw some water in the air.
Very cool, very cool. What are our sizes looking like here?
Yeah, with the sizes on the Atlantik, one thing that's unique about the Atlantik shape is the max width is in between your feet, and the rail arcs up and side cuts up into the tip pretty aggressively, and that allows you to kind of ride the rail a little bit. With that much side cut going up into the tip, we've sized up the board, so it comes in a 4.7, 4.9, and 4.11 size, which might seem a little bit longer relative to other surf style shapes, but because there's so much side cut going up into the tip and arc in the rail, you want to kind of size up a little bit relative to another wake surfer.
So Bryce, obviously this being a passion project of yours, and through this whole conversation, it's very notable that you love every bit of the whole process of this board and what this board is. What would you say your feeling that you're getting from this board? And I mean, is it, I just want to jump in the eyes of Bryce looking down the wave, and I want to see that bucket from your perspective.
Yeah, I mean, on the Atlantik, it's that floaty feel under the front foot, and looking down at the board and seeing how much side cut you have to work with. You just feel like you want to pump the board up, ride down, do a big bottom turn, engage that whole side cut of the rail coming in, and build your speed and, you know, toss a bucket on somebody sitting in the back of the boat.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And you know, you bringing up side cut. The cool thing about the Atlantik is you have that side cut. For me, when I ride the Atlantik, I feel like I'm a little bit more back foot heavy. I can ride it like you're saying, using that side cut to generate that turn, and you can take a real wide bottom turn, use that side cut to generate energy, and then push the back of that tail around and throw that bucket. As opposed to like its counterpart, the DNA, it's a little bit wider throughout the front of the board, has a little bit more buoyancy. You can kind of ride that board more front foot heavy, more weight up front. So kind of in the same kind of comparison as the carbon skimmer to the Osmo, you have kind of a board based off of side cut and using side cut to energy, or straight down the line speed, you know what I mean? So DNA, I feel like I walk up on the nose a little bit more and have that buoyancy, and I'm using the side cut of the Atlantik to create energy and really have that real traditional surf style feeling.
Mm-hmm. The DNA wants to kind of go up onto the wave with that front foot power. The Atlantik wants to kind of go down and come back around type of feeling.
Yeah, really cool.